Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome in. Today's November 30th, 2022. Another edition of the NBA ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. We got a lot to get into. 13 game card. Not gonna break down every single game because I want to get to you guys as well. But I got five looks right now, and I also got 6 leans. So we got a lot to talk about, man. Real quick, as I always do, real quick recap from yesterday before we go on to before we start on today. 1 and 2 day overall, we ended up not cashing on. Let's see, what did I play yesterday that didn't cash? I played Detroit plus the 5. They looked like trash from the beginning. Julius Randle had whatever he wanted in that game. Steph over 12.5 rebounds plus assists. Golden State came out flat. Steph had 1-1 at the end of the first quarter. Picked it up, finished with 5-5, but wasn't able to get to his rebounds and assist line. Really loved that play. And then Wiggins under 5.5 rebounds was an easy cash. He actually finished with 1, which made me actually want to look towards some more unders, man. Unders, if hey, I'm trying to get whatever cash. I don't care. I don't care if people like the play or not. I'm trying to cash. So Wiggins had 1 rebound, and we took him under 5.5 yesterday. So not even a sweat on that one. The 10th of a unit parlay that I gave out only missed because the Knicks decided to get blown out. Brunson was well on his way to score 25 points. He finished with 16, I think, in 18 minutes, or 18 and 16 minutes, something like that. That parlay was plus 941, and we missed out just by him scoring the points. Steph to score 30 cash and Anthony Simons to score 25 was easy cash as well. So really close to hitting that parlay. May end up doing another one today. We got to start. It's the stars will be stars type night for sure. So maybe we'll get to that. But I don't want to dominate the time, man. I want to kind of get through these games as quickly as possible so we can so I can hear from you guys as well. Not trying to make it, too long of a show. So let's get into it, man. Like I said, we got 13 games. I'm not going over all of them in complete detail, but I do got some things I want to share with you guys. So first game up, let's go to and I appreciate you guys, man. Y'all retweet the show, like the show, do all that good stuff for me. T Wolves, Howlin' Chris. Okay, Swaggy said he on the T Wolves tonight. What up, KC? Yeah, let's get some cash, man. Let's get some cash. Let's get into it. Retweet the show, like the show, like I said. Let's get into it, though, man. We got a lot of games to get through. I don't have a banner for all of them, but let's go. So first game up, we have, and we're getting updated news from, as we always do around this time of the day, we're getting updated news from Underdog as the time goes on, even, since we've started the space. Let me just go through that real quick so you guys will know. Cole Anthony will be back tonight, only on a 20-minute limit, limited to about 20 minutes. Same thing with Markelle Fultz. He'll be back tonight, limited to about 15 minutes. What else we got? We got starting lineups. The Magic are going to start Fultz. Gary Harris, Franz Wagner, Bonchero, and Bol is actually going to get the start tonight. Mo Bamba got ruled out. Ben Simmons out for at least 3 games. He was already out. Wanda Nabi to miss at least another week. Trey Lyles was already ruled out. I thought he was anyway. What else? Nasir Little, Josh Hart now listed as questionable. Norman Powell. So all those are from a few hours ago. So try to keep you guys updated on what's going on there as well. And if y'all see something, at me, so I'll or DM it to me, so I'll be able to share it as well. But I'm gonna try to break these games down. So first game up, we got the Hawks and the Magic. Not a real interesting game to me. This one kind of feels like the Detroit and New York game last night. While I want to get behind the Magic in this one, but the Hawks kind of need a win. They've lost 3 games in a row. They off 3 straight non-covers as well. I think they got the band back together today. We know that Clint Capella had been out for a few games with some dental pain. I think DeAndre Hunter had missed one of those games as well. But I don't think I saw any of those names come up on the injury report. Third game in 4 nights for the Magic. I don't necessarily. I wouldn't lay the points with the Hawks, even though because I feel like the Magic are the right side, but I can't get there. The Magic just got too much going on. I just read it, the information to you guys as far as all of the injury report and people coming in, playing out, coming out, and yeah, I can't get behind this Magic team when they don't have a full rotation. I need these guys to be in, and I need them to get some minutes together, build some chemistry with each other. They just haven't, trotting out all these different lineups. I really want to get to the Magic today. They are 4-1 ATS as a home dog this season. When they're getting 6 points or more, their only non-cover came against the Timberwolves. The Hawks just 3-7 ATS on the road this season. 1-2 this season on the road when they land 6 or more points. But I can't get there. I can't get there. I do have a lean towards the Magic plus the 6, but I'm not going to get there. Also a lean towards the under. One of the things I shared on the morning show was that so far this season, when two teams are playing on a third game in 4 nights, and both of those teams had the night off before, the total is 12-4-2 to the under, 75% hit rate to the under when you get both teams coming off back-to-backs. Both teams playing on third game in 4 nights, but had the last night off. And for both teams, 12-4-2 to the under. Something I looked at this morning. Official play for this game, though, Trae Young. I'm going with his assist. His assist over 9.5. Motivation spot, I kind of just talked about it. Hawks coming off 3 straight losses. Should want this one bad to try to get back into the winning column. 4 of his last 6 games, Trae has cleared this number over 9.5. And 3 of his last 5 road games as well. On the season, the Orlando Magic are allowing the 6th most assists to point guards. Over the last 7 games, however, they're allowing the most assists to point guards. And it's not even close. I think it's like 3 more assists than any other team. On the season, Trae's averaging 9.4 assists on 16 potential assist opportunities. On the road specifically, that number is down just a tad bit at 8.5 on 13 assist chances. And over his last 5 games, he's averaging just 8.3 on 14 assist chances. I think he gets back to distributing the ball tonight versus Orlando team that's struggling to stop point guards. Looking through Orlando's game log, if you go look at the point guards that they played against recently, Shake Milton just had 7 assists against them. Shake Milton, they played Philly twice. Shake Milton had 10 assists in the game before. In one of the games he had 7, one of the games he had 10. Halliburton, they played Halliburton twice. He had 14 assists in both games. So I like Trae Young to go over his 9.5 assists. That's official play for me in his first game. Moving along, let's touch the 76ers in the Cavs game. Lining this one opened at 4-point favorites for the Cleveland Cavaliers at home. Total in this one was 211.5, and it's a lot to like in this game, man. So the Sixers come in, they're 7-3 in their last 10, 8-2 ATS. They beat Atlanta in Philly on Monday. This Cavs team, 5-5 over their last 10, just 3-5-2 ATS last 10. However, they are 7-1-1 ATS at home. That's the best ATS record. They're also 8-1 straight up at home. Also the best record straight up wise. For both of these teams, they are on their 6th game in 9 nights, though. But Philly, on one hand, has Embiid, who's just playing his 2nd game since returning from the injury. Bottom line is this for me, though. It's a lot of different ways I can look at this game. I'm not back in Cleveland. I don't care if they're at home, on the road, playing in Jupiter, at Duke. I don't care where they play at. If they don't have Jared Allen and they're playing against a top contender team, I'm not backing the Cavaliers. No Kevin Love tonight, no Jared Allen, and I know Lamar Stevenson was listed as questionable. Jared Allen just does so much for this team, man, and Kevin Love as well. I think they might get Karis LeVert back. It could be a spot. I got to lean towards the Cavs, towards the 76ers plus the 3.5 because the number did come down, and to me that's the only way I could look. I love Cleveland. I'm not backing them in this spot though without Jared Allen and them only having Evan Mobley because they got Robin Lopez and that's problematic. We saw what Toronto was able to do against them. Toronto's a team that, just like Philly, plays a really great defense. And you look at this Philly team over the last 5 games, Philly has the 6th best offensive rating, 3rd best defensive rating. Looking at the Cavs team without Jared Allen, they're just 3-6 against the spread since the start of last season as a home favorite. Without them, and they're 6-3 to the over because they're really just not stopping anybody either, including 1 loss this season versus the Timberwolves already. In 3 games this season without Love and Allen, the Cavs are just 1-2 straight up. That one and against the spread, and that 1 win came against the Detroit Pistons team where they had to fight back in the second half on Sunday. And they also 3-0 to the under, averaging just 94 points without Kevin Love and Jared Allen, which is why I made the video play earlier. I'm on the total under 211.5. 211. It opened at 211.5. But official for me, I think the Philadelphia 76ers continue to play really good defense in this spot. I think the 76ers, I think the Cleveland Cavaliers also, bring it on the defensive end as well. Sixers, 4-2 straight up and against the spread this season without Harden and Maxey in the lineup, 4-2 to the under, and they've won 3 in a row as well. So I would only be able to look towards the Cavaliers in this spot. To the Philadelphia 76ers in this spot. I also think, looking at Embiid assist props, he has some. He was talking about how his teammates, how proud he was of his teammates and how well they had been doing, and how he didn't want to kind of come in and throw off the chemistry. So he hit his assist prop last game. I think he could hit his assist prop again this game. I do expect the defensive game, and in those games, it's really hard for me to take overs. So I'm probably not going to play anything over in this game. But I do have another really solid lean towards Evan Mobley. I think looking at Evan Mobley, 26.5 for his points plus rebounds. I think his points are at 15.5. His rebounds are at 10.5. And I can see him going over that number, man. He's going to be the only big guy. He typically stays out of foul trouble. They have no Jared Allen. I think, I think Coach JB Bickerstaff understands that Robin Lopez doesn't have a place in that lineup unless they're playing against one of these subpar teams. He can't be on the floor. Even against Detroit, he looked so bad the other day that he got played off the floor. So that's my look at that one, man. I just think that the 76ers probably win this game. Next game up, we have the Wizards and the Nets. Real conflicting trends. I probably won't get there on this one either, but I do got a lean for this game as well. So line is now at the Nets -5.5. And I want to say, hold on, let me grab my iPad really quickly. All right, so I just want to make sure I got the most updated numbers. So I'm gonna grab my iPad real quick and make sure I get to my iScreen. But I know the line for this one was 5.5 in favor of the Wizards. I think it's still there. It's still there. I see a 6 as well. Totals come up from 223 to 229. So a lot of money's coming in on the over. This Wizards team is hard to figure out, man. They come in off the blowout win against Minnesota. Scored 140 plus points in that game on Monday. They're 4-0 to the over in their last 4 games. So their offense is clearly clicking. But they started the season priding themselves on the defensive end, and they weren't able to score the ball as much. Brooklyn coming off a win, but a non-cover against Orlando. This will be their third game in 4 nights and their third game of I think it's 6 or 7 game homestand. They play Toronto on Friday. Ben Simmons has been ruled out. Rui Hachimura has been ruled out in this one as well. Looking at the Wizards as away dogs this season at 5-3 to the over. This is also a revenge game for them. They lost in DC by 42 points on November 4th at the start of the month. Brooklyn, they've been playing a lot better defensively since they've been home. They have went under in 3 of their last 4 games since allowing the shorthanded Philadelphia 76ers team to score 115 points against them last Tuesday on that TNT game where they got embarrassed. Next night went to Toronto and beat the shorthanded Toronto team. So for me, I would lean towards the under. I know the total's coming up, but I think Brooklyn can play defense. And typically you want to fade a team that doesn't score as many points as the Wizards does after they've scored that many points. So my lean would be towards the under. I gave you guys the stats also. So far, I'll read it again. This is applicable in this game, in the last game, and one more game as well. So far this season, when 2 teams are playing on the third game in 4 nights, but also both teams had 1 day of rest before the game because both of these teams were off yesterday, the total is 12, 4, and 2 to the under. That's a 75% hit rate. You look at this Wizards team, like I said, they scored 140 points, but if you just look at them scoring 130 points, they're 0-5 straight up, 1-4 against the spread since the start of last season. That hasn't happened yet this year. All 5 of those times were last year, but I don't see this. I don't think it's sustainable for this Wizards team to keep scoring. We know what the Brooklyn Nets can do on the defensive end. Another thing I looked at was Ben Simmons. We know the impact that he has on this team, but the numbers don't line up. They tell you a different story. With Ben Simmons in the game, with Ben Simmons playing, the Brooklyn Nets are actually allowing, I think, about 8 or 9 more points than they do without him in the game. So they played well without him before he came back. I don't think that they miss a beat today, and I would probably be looking towards the under in this game. I also think that the Nets could cover the 5.5. The only reason I'm not going to do that is because it is such a major revenge spot. When you lose by 42 to, you probably circle that next game. So no play for me there. But like I said, lean to the Nets -5.5. Also lean towards the under in that one. Even though the total's going up, I don't care. Under 229, I would take the under in that one. Like I said, Brooklyn can play defense. The Washington Wizards should kind of regress to the mean and not be able to score as many points tonight in that one. So lean, as I say that, the total goes from 229 down to 228. So maybe some money is starting to come in on the under as well. I need to write that one down on my short list. Under 228 in that one. So All right, so that's that game. Looking at this Bucks and the Knicks game, next game up. I'm gonna try to get through as many of these as possible, but I'm not going through every single one of them. Hit the like button for me, subscribe if you guys haven't already, and let's keep going. So Bucks and the Knicks. Spreading this one opened at 4.5 yesterday. It's up to 6 now. I got it on the screen at 5. So DeAndre Hunter looked like he's gonna be a game time decision. I got it at 5 on the screen right now because this was updated earlier. Jalen Johnson got ruled out. Bogdanovich is ruled out. Those are the Atlanta guys off the bench. All right, so back to the Bucks and the Knicks. So the Bucks, this will be their first road game after a 4-game homestand where they finished 3-1 straight up, 2-2 against the spread. Coming off back-to-back wins against the Dallas Mavericks and the Cleveland Cavaliers. This is the first of this is a one-off road game for them. They come back home to host the Lakers on Friday. You look at this Knicks team. They're coming off the really, really impressive 30-point win. I don't know how impressive you could say it is because they have beat the Pistons like 100 times in a row now, but I wasn't expecting that last night. So impressive 30-point win for them last night. When none of the starters played more than 30 minutes. Jalen Brunson only played 18. Julius Randle played 30. That was the most. They don't play again until they host Dallas on Saturday. So not a real big look ahead spot for either of these games. No real, big injuries, like nothing, alarming. The Bucks 4-0 straight up ATS, 4-0 straight up and against the spread. Last season, dating back to last season, as an away favorite when the opponent is playing on the second night of a back-to-back, and the Bucks actually have 1 day of rest or more. So if the Bucks have been rested, their opponent's playing on second night of back-to-back, they're 4-0 straight up and against the spread in that spot dating back to last year. Also 3-1 to the over, right? So 3-0 to the over in that spot. You look at this Knicks team, they are 10-5 to the over after scoring 120 points or more in their previous game. Also 6-10 against the spread. So that's a play on the Milwaukee Bucks. It's also a play on the New York on the over, right? Now this trend I got for you guys. Knicks 6-3 to the over since the start of last season when they're on a third game in 4 nights. Knicks also 11-6 to the over since the start of last season as a home dog. So they typically score, but they can't stop the bleeding, and the other team scores as well. Knicks are also 4-0 to the over in their last 4 games this season, and they haven't scored less than 123 points in any of those last 4 games. You look at this Bucks team, they're only 1-5, right? So 1-5 to the under this season on the road. But if you take a deeper look at the games that they've played against, 2 of them have been against the 76ers. We know that that's typically a playoff type atmosphere. 76ers play at one of the slowest paces in the league as well. And they rank top 5 defensively. You look, they also, went under against the Hawks, who are typically another good defensive team. And that's another kind of playoff type environment as well. And the Thunder, if you look at the Thunder and the Spurs games, those were games that didn't have Drew Holiday, didn't have Giannis Antetokounmpo. So I'm not really concerned that the Bucks are just 1-5 to the under on the road. I think they score a lot of points, and I also think that the Knicks can score in this game. I played the over, and I talked about this one on the Cashed It with Chris podcast this morning. Over 227 is what I got it at. I think the total went up to 220. Let me just check and make sure real quick. New York. The total is at 227.5, 228.5, 228. I see a bunch of different totals, but I am official on the over 227. Like that spot a lot in this game. One other thing that's interesting to note, because I know a lot of people was going to hop on the Bucks today, which I think the Bucks are still the right side. But if you look at the Knicks, we always talk about teams not playing well on the back-to-back. I looked at the numbers, though. The Knicks were actually 5-1 ATS last season playing on the second leg of a back-to-back, which was by far the best record in the NBA when you look at against the spread records. So they were 5-1 ATS last season on the second night of a back-to-back. That was also a third game in 4 nights. I'm sorry, I meant to add that part. So back-to-back, that's the third game in 4 nights. They were 4-2 to the over in that spot as well. Another reason why I like the over in this game. This season, the Knicks have already started 2-1 ATS in that same exact spot. So the Knicks actually cover. They cover when they're playing, without a lot of rest. The Bucks, I talked about that already. Okay, so yeah, I hit on all that already. So Bucks minus the 6 would be my lean. I'm not official on that. But I am official on a total going over the 227. So that's my thoughts on that game. Heat and the Celtics game is a little weird to me. You look at this Heat team, they have been playing well defensively. over their last few games. By far the best team that the Celtics have played against recently. They come into the game only 10-11 straight up and just 2-7 ATS on the road. They've won three in a row and covered 3 of their last 4. The one that they didn't cover was actually a push. Even with all the injuries, we know that Spoelstra's going to be, he's always going to have, something up his sleeve, especially when it comes to playoff type revenge, right? This was the team that, kicked this team out of the playoffs last year. But Boston on the opposite side, it's hard to go against this team that has the best offense that we've ever seen with our own 2 eyes, right? They're 17-4, best record in the league, 10-1 straight up at home, 8-3 ATS at home, also 8-2 in their last 10. Man, they're just clicking on all cylinders. It doesn't matter who's in, who's out. I feel like I say the same thing every single game, and I'm not interested in betting against them right now. Also interesting to note, though, that these 2 teams do play again on December 2nd, which is on Friday in Boston again. So same 2 teams, same venue, back again. There was a bunch of names that came up on the injury report, and it looks like all those guys are going to be in. Duncan Robinson is expected to play. Gabe Vincent, Matt Strus is probable. Caleb Martin looked like he's going to be in. Jaylen Brown, I didn't see. He was listed as questionable. Don't know if he's in. Tyler Hero was listed as questionable, and Jimmy Butler is officially out for this one. Let's see. One thing I wanted to mention real quick. So in 5 games this season that the Celtics have been home favorites with the line between 7 and 10. They've been laying either 7 or 10 points in those 5 games. They've gone 4-1 straight up, but just 3-2 against the spread, averaging 122 points and 66 points in the first half. Looking at the last 5 games specifically, Miami has the best 3-point defense. They're allowing teams to shoot just 29%, and Boston is making the most threes, 18 per game over the last 5 games as well. So we know Boston like to get out. They like to shoot a lot of threes. And Miami's defending the 3-point line, well. I think a lot of public money is going to come in on the Celtics. I'm staying off of this one. I think I'm going to play Boston probably their next game. Depending on how this game go, I'll probably jump on them next time. Couldn't talk anybody off Boston, though, but I don't have anything in this one official. Do have a lean to Tatum rebounds, though. Tatum rebounds still at 7.5. He didn't hit that line last game, but he's been clearing that total, getting at least 8 rebounds, sometimes double-digit rebounds. I anticipate this game to be a tad bit closer. I don't think that they'll have a 15-point lead the whole entire game. So I would lean towards Tatum to be able to get to his rebound line of 7.5, but nothing that I actually played. So moving along, the Raptors and the Pelicans game. Line open with the Pelicans laying 1. Brandon Ingram was already listed as out. He was listed as out yesterday. Today we got, I think Najee Marshall is in. CJ McCollum has also been ruled out. You get a Pelicans team that's playing well at home, a Raptor team that's been kind of struggling. They're just 5-5, I think, in their last 10. They're 11-9 on the season and just 3-7 on the road. Pelicans 12-8 on the season, 7-3 straight up at home, one of the better home records. I don't care. Simply put, I'm not laying points with these good teams that are playing on the road. These good teams, I don't care if they're playing at home or on the road without their primary players, right? So same thing I just said about Cleveland Cavaliers. I've seen it with my own eyes. They are not the same team without Jared Allen, without Kevin Love. And I think that's true. That's why you see the line change. I jumped on the Raptors when they were -2, -2.5. I think now that line is up to let's see, Toronto. It's still 2.5. So 2.5, 3, right? And that's why I think the line should be. The total has gone from 223 to 2 down to 222. I like this spot for Toronto, man. I get on here and I talk about Toronto a lot. And for me, it's just they get their guy back. Siakam's back. He played 30 minutes in the first game the other day in the win over the Cleveland Cavaliers. And now they have him again tonight. And I think that's just too much. I think that's too much for the New Orleans Pelicans team that's really going. I think they're going to struggle to set up Zion tonight. When you lose one of your ball handlers, but you still have one, that's great. But when you lose 2 of them, and now you're relying on, Alvarado, who's a great player. I love Alvarado. I love what he brings to the game, especially from the defensive end. But he's not a point guard that's going to initiate the offense. I watched this team struggle. And they didn't even cover against the Oklahoma City Thunder the other day. So I'm not willing to back this team in this spot. Another thing I was looking at, right? So the Pelicans, they scored 105 points on Monday against the Oklahoma City Thunder without CJ McCollum, without Brandon Ingram. That was the second fewest points that they scored in a game this season. I mean, I don't think it's by chance, right? 3-point shooting. They shot 9 of 32, 28%. More costly, 22 turnovers, season high. So you take Brandon Ingram out the game, you take CJ McCollum out the game, and now you have the most turnovers ever. What do the Toronto Raptors like to do? They like to turn you over, get out and run in transition. Now you bring Pascal Siakam back, and I just think it's a recipe for the Raptors to be able to win this game, probably by 6, 7, 8 points in my estimation. I still like them on the line right now, minus the 2.5, minus the 2.5, minus the 3. So what I wrote in my notes was, simply put, I just can't lay points with the Pelicans here without two of their best ball handlers and distributors. In 5 games so far this season without CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram, okay, I was making sure we're not. In 5 games without CJ and BI, the Pelicans are 2-3 against the spread, but most recently 0-2 when they've been laying points. Eye test tells me that Toronto is getting healthier and the defense continues to be really, really good. Having Siakam back in the lineup is a much needed boost. The Raptors 4-1 ATS in away games this season when they do have Siakam playing. 4 straight covers as well. The Raptors are 6-2 ATS with Siakam in, and they have 1 day of rest because they're not playing on the second night of a back-to-back. I put the Pelicans. I put the Raptors -2 and -2.5 in my pocket. Played it on 2 different books at 2 different lines. Dwayne Dedman looked like he's ruled out. Also, Siakam. I'm on Siakam tonight. I took his rebounds, but I'm not going to endorse that play for you guys because the line did go up to 8.5. If you can get Siakam rebounds at 7.5, I think you absolutely smash it. I took it at 7.5 when it was -105. But the play I'm going to give you guys is Siakam over rebounds plus assists. If you can still get the line at 13.5, it's probably one of my favorite plays of the day. Siakam had 11 rebounds in his return on Monday versus the Cavaliers. But before he was injured, he cleared the number 3 or 4 games. To me, this kind of feels like a defensive game. I could see, Toronto kind of struggling on offense just a tad bit. I definitely think the Pelicans going to struggle on offense without their primary ball handlers. Siakam, he has he's averaging 9.5 rebounds on the season with 14 rebound chances. If you go and look at his assist numbers, right? So Siakam his assist number was 5.5. If you go look at his assist numbers, you can go back like 8 or 9 games. He's had 5 assists, 6 assists, 11, 6, 6, 13, 6, 9, 11. For me, it just kind of feels like Alvarado is probably going to try to be as much of a pest to Fred VanVleet as possible. I think Nick Nurse probably understands that unless the offense run through Pascal Siakam. Why not, right? Even if it doesn't happen, I still like Siakam being able to go over his assist line. So if you take the 13.5 line, you literally need Siakam to get 14 rebounds plus assists. I'll read the numbers to you guys. 16 in this last game, 13 in the game he was injured against Dallas, 21 in the game against San Antonio, 18 against Atlanta, 16 against Philly, 18 against Philly, 15 against Miami, 17 against Miami, 23 against Brooklyn, 12 against Cleveland, and that was the first game of the season. So give me Siakam over the 13.5 rebounds plus assists. That's actually probably my favorite player prop of the day. Siakam over 13.5 rebounds plus assists. Moving along. So, and I know I feel like I took too long on that game. Grizzlies and the Timberwolves spreading this one opened at 4.5 in favor of Memphis. It's down to 2.5. Real fishy stuff going on here, especially without Cat being there. Not touching this game. The only thing I would play is probably a player prop. Without Cat being there, Rudy Gobert should get more rebounds. He's going to be up against Steven Adams today, so he should definitely be on the court. Probably creates a lot more spacing. We saw when Rudy Gobert was gone, what that did for Cat. I'm pretty sure it's going to be real similar for Rudy Gobert. D'Lo done already burnt me, even though he does typically play well against the Timberwolves. I remember taking him in the first game of the playoffs last year, taking his threes, and he was ice cold. But if you go look at his track record, he does typically perform really well against the Memphis Grizzlies. So maybe looking at him. I think it's a cat game. I think he plays well offensively. Timberwolves are also coming off a lot of wins. Not a team I'm looking to back though. So I'm off of this game, man. I'm not playing this game. I'm not touching it. Sorry, I don't got nothing for you guys on that one. Spurs and the Thunder. Josh Richardson, I'm not sure if he got ruled out or got ruled in. I know Base Diop, I think he got ruled in. He was listed as questionable. Jeremy Socon is already out. Jakob Poeltl is already out. SGA also got ruled out. And immediately what I was thinking is go to Josh Giddey, triple-double. I looked at it. It's like plus 105. I'm not playing Josh Giddey triple-double at plus 105. If you want to, more to marry to you, I'm not playing a triple-double at plus 105. That's worse than like Jokic last year. So that's something I'm not going to be on. You do have to look towards rebounding for the for both of these teams. Honestly, the Thunder, one of the worst rebounding teams in the league. Yeah, Cat is out for a couple weeks. If I said Cat, I meant to say if I didn't say Cat, I meant to say Cat's going to be out for about 6 weeks. I saw Hustle just mention me on that. Both of these teams struggle to rebound the ball. So SGA not being in, I would probably look at Josh Giddey rebounds. But Jakob Poeltl, you really saw, if you watched that Laker game the other day, you really saw his presence interior. He had 6 rebounds, I think, in like the first few minutes of that game. I think he might have finished with like 8 or 9 rebounds, and he left the game in the first quarter. So without him, without Jeremy Socon, I think, you definitely got to look for somebody on this team to be able to rebound the ball. 2 tanking teams, I'm not taking either one of them. I would say that the upper hand goes to the Thunder, but that's probably just with SGA in. So I'm not taking SGA either. I'm not taking the Thunder either without SGA. So I think it's plenty of props in that game, though. Looking at guys like, Devin Vassell and like I said, Josh Giddey. Looking at who else am I missing? Keldon Johnson. Like all of these guys have the potential to go off. The total in that one came down. I think it opened at 237.5. It's down to 232, but that's probably just because SGA's not in. Rockets and the Nuggets, nothing for me in this one. I thought the Rockets was going to cover in the last game, ended up losing by 16 points. I do think that you could look at team totals for the Nuggets if you're scared of a spread this big. The Rockets probably will end up covering this game, I think. I'm not putting my money on it, but I think that they could cover this game. You just don't want to take them as an away dog. You also struggle with the motivation of the Nuggets. They already beat this team, a couple games ago, same exact venue. Bones Highland was listed as questionable. Not sure if he's in. I know Michael Porter Jr. is listed as out, but as long as Jokic is in the game, anything that the Nuggets want to happen could happen in this one. I also think looking at the Rockets, I think Sengun props are something that I might end up taking a harder look at. I think maybe his rebounds plus assists or his PRA line. I don't know if you guys saw the quote, but Jokic did come out and say that he thinks that the offense should run through. He thinks that the Rockets offense should probably run through Sengun just a tad bit more. And if you guys don't know, Sengun is a big fan of Nurkic. He loved this guy, modeled his game after him, wanted to be just like him. So in that matchup, you kind of, look for that player to play well against the player that they look up to. So I'll probably be looking at his props. The Nuggets also don't play a lot of defense, so the Rockets should be able to score. But the Rockets don't play a lot of defense, so the Nuggets should be able to score. Nothing for me official on that one. I'm off that game. Clippers and the Jazz. Clippers in a tough spot last night. Came back 13-point deficit in the fourth quarter to win that game outright against the Portland Trailblazers. Now they travel from Portland to Utah. Not a long travel. Utah, I don't think should be laying 7, especially without Mike Conley, how they've looked recently. But, what's being baked in the line is the back-to-back. I think it's also a 3rd and 4 games for the Clippers as well. The Jazz are falling off a cliff like we thought that they would eventually when they, came back to life. And you see that this spread goes so it looked like it opened at 8. Looked like it opened at 6.5. It went all the way up to 8. Now it's come back down to 7.5. Total has dropped too from 226.5 down to 222, 222.5 out there as well. I don't like betting Jazz games, so I'm not betting this game. I also don't like betting Clippers games. A lot of these guys ended up on the injury report as well. I think Norman Powell ended up on the injury report. Reggie Jackson's now listed as questionable. Norman Powell, I think, was listed as doubtful. I'm not touching that game, man. I hope you guys find something that you like in it and rock out with it. I'm not touching that game. Bulls, another team that I really, really hate to cap and to watch. Suns, they burned me the other day. Devin Booker, like I said, turned into Kobe Bryant, determined that they won't lose that game. I thought, the Suns were teetering on a loss and was due to lose a game. I don't know, man. I don't trust this Bulls team. I'll tell you that. I just can't get behind the Bulls team. So Derrick Jones Jr. is listed as probable. Dragic is out. Caruso is listed as probable. DeSumo is listed as probable, and Chris Paul is still out. Yeah, I think looking at this game, Aiden should be able to get whatever he wants. I don't trust Vucevic playing defense, and Markel Bridges gonna end up guarding. Probably if I had to guess, I would say he'll probably end up guarding probably DeRozan. So Zach LaVine should have a good game, I guess, because they don't have two good perimeter defenders. But Markel Bridges is a lockdown defender. We saw what he was able to do taking De'Aaron Fox out of the game last game in Sacramento. So what I got for you guys there. Pacers and the Kings, probably the most anticipated game of the night, I feel. Of course, there's the revenge factor with, both of these teams having to trade for each other. Halliburton being back in Sacramento, I think that's a big deal. I've mentioned and kind of alluded to it before. This Pacers, Halliburton was very emotional when the Kings let him go. He thought that, he should have been the guy, right? He thought that he was going to be the guy. He thought that they were going to build a franchise around him. So I look for him to be extremely motivated in this spot. Everybody and their mom is on his props tonight, so I'm going to stay off. But I hope everybody cash. I'm not taking Halliburton. Dude has 40 assists in the last 3 games with no turnovers. That's, really, really tough to do. I think the Kings are the better team. At home, I think that they probably are more motivated. The Pacers coming off a very, very impressive win down, 12, 13, 14 points in the fourth quarter before the game winner gets hit. Emotional spot. I do think that, time clock will catch up with the Pacers as well. The West Coast teams that go to the East typically struggle, and the East Coast teams that come to the West typically struggle. And when you're going on that long road trip, that's 5 or 6 games, sometimes it's not until it's like, 3rd, 4th, 5th game that it actually catches up with you. So I talked about the Kings yesterday. I haven't put that ticket in my pocket officially, but I do have a strong lean towards the Kings minus the 4.5. I think a lot of points going to be scored in this game. I think it's the highest total of the season too. I think it's up to like 242. It opened at 238. Money's come in on the over. I see it at 243 right now. So highest total on the board. I would only look towards the under because I think that, all it takes is one, messed up quarter for that to be messed up by one of these teams to go on a scoring drought that's, 4 or 5 minutes, and typically the under's going to hit. So, strong lean towards the minus 4.5 in favor of Sacramento. Another strong lean towards the under 242.5. I don't think the 243 points are scored. The Kings gave up a bunch of points in the last game against Sacramento, so I'll only be able to look towards Coach Mike Brown to get them guys to actually play defense. And if you look at how the Phoenix Suns scored, a lot of it was out in transition. They got a lot of transition buckets. I can guarantee you that Coach Mike Brown had them, practicing their transition defense because the Phoenix Suns got a lot of easy baskets on their way to 122 points in that last game. So I would lean towards the under in that one, but nothing that I played. Trey Lyles is officially out in that one as well. And then last game on the board, the Blazers versus my Lakers. Spreading this one opened at 5. I think it's up to 6 now. The total has gone from 226 down to 224. I want to say. So today's Wednesday. So that means Patrick Beverly's actually back for this one. Patrick Beverly being back doesn't bode well for Anthony Simons. Because no Dame Lillard means that Pat's going to be all over Anthony Simons tonight. Bron and AD have already been ruled in for this one. Both listed as probable. Blazers, tough spot for them last night. We talked about them going on a 4-game road trip, coming home for 1 game, then going back on the road. Would only be able to look towards my Lakers, but y'all know I don't bet Laker games, man. I do think that AD, shout out to Too Heavy. I do think that AD probably continues to feast tonight, and I would take him probably points plus rebounds. I know his rebound line is up, I think, to 12.5, but it's for good reason. He's had at least 12 rebounds in like 6, 7, 8 straight games. So like AD, he's healthy. He looks aggressive. And the Lakers are running their offense through them, man. I love to see it. So would lean towards the Lakers. I'm not taking the Lakers to beat anybody by 6 right now, though. Not with the way with how stagnant that offense can be. Specifically in the fourth quarter. I looked at some of those offensive efficiency ratings in the fourth quarter. Whew, you talking about a scary movie? Man, it's really scary. So even if the Lakers get a big lead, I don't trust them to ever hold on to it, because at the end of the day, fourth quarter, they just typically stand around. I've been watching this team play for a really, really long time. They stand around, watch each other go one-on-one and nobody cuts. It's some of the worst basketball you could actually watch with your own 2 eyes. So I'm not taking the Lakers to beat anybody by 6, but it wouldn't surprise me in this one. Blazers, like I said, not a good spot for them at all. And that's what I got, man. Officially, I am on Trae Young over 9.5 assists. Philly, Cleveland under 2, 11.5. Minnesota and Milwaukee and New York over 227. The Raptors -2, -2.5. My favorite spread of the day. And Siakam over 13.5 rebounds plus assists. Strong leans towards the Magic plus the 6. And Embiid over 4.5 assists. Evan Mobley over 26.5 points plus rebounds. The Nets -5. The under 228 in that same game. The Sixers plus 3.5. And Tatum over the 7.5 rebounds. I know I was talking fast. All this is being recorded, as it always is, over on YouTube. So if you guys got you want to rewind and go through the breakdown, you jumped in late, you want to hear why I'm on what I'm on, just go back and listen through, find the game that you're interested in. Not a lot of plays for me in these late games, and I think a big part of that is because most of the time I'm asleep before halftime. So I typically like to watch the games that I bet on. And I feel like it's earlier. It's for me, it's better looks in the early games, and that might just be me. I'm gonna keep breaking the games down and trying to find some value as well, in some of these games for tomorrow. But if you guys have plays that you like, send me a request. I'll get a few people up. 114 people. I think this is a record for me. I don't think I ever had 114 people watching on YouTube at the same time. Hit the like button for me if you guys watching on YouTube, man. Appreciate you guys as well. Let's see. Mikal Bridges, RBA is low in my opinion. I think that's supposed to be RBA. I don't know what that is. My Lakers are so old, they get tired in the fourth. That's a fact, bro. We do get tired in the fourth. Bron ain't gonna let AD eat. Run, hit the like first. Yeah. I like AD, man. I like AD tonight. But let me get to a couple of the requests. I think I went through that pretty quickly. We got about 30 minutes. If you guys got plays, I got time, man. About 30 minutes. Let me get Cam up. I don't even know if let me see if my actual headphones connected. Hold on 1 second. Let's see. Did I connect? Audio Bluetooth device. Dang, I don't even see my headphones. Let's see. Hey Cam, can you hear me? Hey Cam, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I love the Raptors looks. I'm mad at myself because last night I told everybody Raptors money line. I did not expect CJ to be called out, which moved the line. So I should have just bet it was evens.
Absolutely, Cam. I was thinking it's so funny you said that, bro, because I was thinking the same exact thing. Yeah. What I didn't know was that he actually had COVID. I knew he was out for health and safety, but I didn't know it was COVID. And typically when you have that COVID, you're not like running, you're not scrimmaging, you're not getting any cardio in. So what players have been doing is, even when they clear the health and safety, they typically have been waiting and sitting that next game out, maybe 2 games, depending on how many games they've missed already, just to try to get their body reconditioned. You know what I mean? So getting some treadmill work in, some light cardio. We saw the same thing with Bradley Beal when he missed all those games. He missed like 2 games just from reconditioning after he was out of health and safety. So I'm with you on that, bro. I wish I could have got the line at, at a better number, but I still like the line at what it is right now, Ken.
Yeah, because I like to even, again, I thought CJ was playing, and everything he said, it's like, I don't think they have enough. And I think Brandon Ingram's just a big miss for them right now. And like, I was at the game on Monday, and Pascal, he's fine. Like he came back. Like, the one thing the Raptors do with their stars is they take their time There's no rushing back. This guy he's past 100%. He looks like rested.
Right.
Every time there was any switch or anything, it was his barbecue chicken. It didn't matter who was on him. He only scored 18 because he only had to. It was a blow up by the third. It was over. So I really like the Pascal look as well. I'm gonna tail that. I wasn't looking at it, but I definitely took the Raptors on the spread because regardless, I was on their money line. So for me, as soon as CJ was out, I think that's a good look. What I'm on tonight. It's actually interesting. I did some parlays. I never really give out parlays, but there's one I really like that I'm going to give out is Devin Vassell over 2.5 threes. Keldon Johnson over his 21.5 and Vassell over his 20 points. I'm at plus 350. Just kind of a pattern I'm noticing. OKC, first off, they don't play defense. It's kind of like Detroit, some of these bad teams. And no shade. So I see the Spurs kind of going off tonight. It's one of those games where they're not going to win a lot of games this year. This is a game that you're going to look at OKC right now and be like, this is a game we should win. And there's enough dudes out where Vassell and Keldon aren't really going to sit much either way. Vassell's been going over his props basically all year when it's around the 20 point mark. And his threes prop under that over 2.5 for me it's just kind of, it's one of those things where I feel real confident about betting it. And the Keldon Johnson look, I just think he's going to have he had a real good game last game, and I think he's going to keep that momentum going. Moving into this one, and it's just it's a heavy plus 350. You know, play like if you're going to play half a unit. I just really like the look, and I normally wouldn't give it a look like that, but I think it's solid. Did a lot of work on it. I'm also on Milwaukee, so Milwaukee, I got them minus 5.5 last night. I would take them at the minus 6. They own the Knicks at Madison Square Garden too. I mean, you put out some pretty big numbers on the Knicks on their back-to-backs, but this is me, just basketball fan, and we're at that point of the season where some things just don't make sense. I don't see a world where the Bucks go into Madison Square Garden after a few days rest, Knicks on a back-to-back, and don't smoke them. I just don't. So for me, it was a minus 5.5. I know you put in some numbers that may be on the contrary. I just really like the Bucks tonight.
No, Cam. Real quick, I think so. I lean with you, right? I think they can cover the 6 too. I was just kind of giving that out because I do like people to see both sides of it. So
that's what I'm saying. They're good research contrarians on it, but for me, it's like, again, as a fan, and like there's been a few spreads. Like the other day, I told you, I'm not afraid to bet your Lakers.
Right.
It's just certain teams. When you start looking at it, you're like, this doesn't make sense. I get it. The records have them in a certain place. I get it. Like there's certain things that the books are kind of trying to trap you. I'm not afraid of this one. I do think the Bucks come out and handle business. And in that same game, I got to give this a parlay, but this one is a lot safer than the other one in the sense it's only 2 legs. Brook Lopez over 1.5 threes. Brook Lopez over 1.5 blocks. He's averaging 2 blocks. He's averaging 2 threes on the season. The guy is snapping. Mitchell Robinson you can play Brook, honestly, I might look at it up to 4 threes tonight. Mitchell Robinson is not going out there. He's not going to guard him. He's going to let him shoot. And Brook Lopez right now is handling anybody who comes in the lane, averaging near 3 blocks over his last 5 games. The guy's he's on a tear. So for me, that comes out at plus 150, over 1.5 threes, 1.5 blocks. So 2 threes, 2 blocks. Again, I'm only playing half year on my big. Anything over plus one, I don't go big on. I typically play safer. I mean, if you feel good about them, go crazy. It's up to you. I never tell people what units to put on anything, but those are the looks I got for tonight. Oh yeah, my bad. And I'm taking Paulo over his points. That's it. 21.5 minus 115.
Okay. Hey, I like those. I like all those looks, Cam. I love all those looks, bro. I hope you cash them too. The other thing I wanted to mention real quick, Cam, like you said about when you were talking about the Bucks. Certain times when certain teams just kind of own other teams, you can just kind of ride there, right? I know that the Knicks typically get beat up on the same way we talk about, because yesterday I talked about I was on Detroit plus the 5, but I talked about the Knicks being 8-1-1 against the spread in the last 10 games, and they crushed this team. They win every single one of them, right? But it just felt like a Knicks spot yesterday. And the same,
I took them yesterday, the exact same reason.
Right.
They own the Pistons. There's a certain teams that you're like I was on Randall. There's certain teams you look at and you're just like, this is a wrap. And the Bucks, they clear the spread by 10 basically every time they play them. So
right.
That's the angle that I looked at it.
Got you.
Like I cannot see a world where these Bucks, with the rest that they've had, everybody's healthy. They're gonna look at this Knicks team who was probably out partying with Randall last night for his birthday, and I think it's done.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I like that. Like that angle too, Cam. Okay, I like the looks, bro. Best of luck, man. I hope you cash them. Definitely hope you cash him. Let me kick it to Bookie real quick, and then I want to come to Ben, and then I'm gonna get to you too, LJ. What's up, Bookie? What you on today? You got an under?
How we doing, Chris? I wanted to stay in that Milwaukee, New York game because I think Underdog tweeted out that Middleton might actually make his debut today.
It's Friday, right?
Huh?
It's Friday, right?
Did they say Friday or did they say today?
I thought it was Friday. I know he's been playing in the G League. We can confirm that real quick.
I definitely might have read it wrong. That could be definitely true. But anyways, I'm on under in that game. Mitchell Robinson under 7.5 points. The line is 6.5 at plus money everywhere else. I honestly like that too. Maybe even better value with the plus money. Robinson averaging 7 points per game on 4.3 attempts in just 22 minutes. And he's over this line. He is over this line in 6 of 13. But since 2021, Robinson has gone over this line just 1 of 6 versus Milwaukee, including a 5-point performance with 5 fouls this season. Robinson is shooting 96% of his shots from restricted area. Milwaukee's allowing the second least field goal attempts and 6th lowest field goal percentage in that zone. Between Lopez and Giannis down there, it's going to be very hard to get an efficient shot in the half court that's not a tip in or a put back shot. Looking back at centers versus Milwaukee with between 3 and 7 field goal attempts, just 3 of 15 players went over the 7 points. And Robinson has only had 7 field goal attempts 3 times this season and has had 6 games where he's shot the ball 4 times or less. So the range I used there was very generous. And for a player with such low volume, maybe his worst matchup with very high potential of being in valuable trouble, foul trouble, I'm very comfortable with this number. An interesting stat, if you filter out the game where he played only 6 minutes versus Milwaukee, in his career, he averages 4 fouls per game versus them. Another look I'm on is Darius Garland under 2.5 3-pointers made. It was minus 160, I believe, but I paired it with Philly plus 11.5 to bring the juice down to plus 100. Garland's averaging 3 3-pointers made on 7.5 attempts in November. And he's gone over in 7 of 14, but Garland's shooting 89% of his threes from above the break. Philly's the only team top 10 in least attempts and lowest percentage from that zone, allowing the second lowest 3-point percentage and 6th least attempts. Philly also allows the least 3-pointers made to point guards, but looking deeper, just 5 of 25 point guards and 3 of 11, or 5 of 11, or 5 of 25 total guards and 3 of 11 point guards, shooting between 5 and 9 3-point attempts. That's his range. If you look at his box score, has hit 3 more threes versus Philly. So that's 20% of guards and 20% of point guards. Very low hit rate. Garland's a guy who's no problem attacking the lane, and he's not going to settle for bad shots. I still think he gets his, but just not from behind the arc. And I also love Philly today. Like you said, Cleveland without Jared Allen. And also Kevin Love, too. Even Lamar Stevens, he plays a big piece. I definitely like Philly today. And then one more play I really like also is, where is it? Franz Wagner under 1.5 3-pointer made, minus 120 on Barstool, but it was minus 150 on DK, I believe. So a bit of an odd differential. Franz averages 1.2 3-pointers made on 4.4 attempts. Just with going over this line in only 4 of 14 games when Paulo plays. Franz not a player who depends on the 3 to score. He's averaging 18.6 points with only 20% of his points coming from 3. I definitely like this better if Hunter plays, but regardless, I still like him to go under. He's not going to force up threes, especially when he's only shooting 27% from there this season, and against an Atlanta team that's very good against the perimeter shooters. And actually, one more play, too, I really like is the same game parlay for Memphis and Minnesota. I'm only putting a half unit on it, plus 250. Morant over 1.5 threes. He has a decent hit rate on this line, but the thing that stood out to me was last game versus Minnesota, he had 10 attempts. And Minnesota's abysmal at guarding the 3. If he shoots the ball 10, even 8 times and doesn't hit 2, I'll live with it. Conchar over 1.5 threes, over in 7-13 this month, and 4 of the last 5. Obviously, Minnesota still off like on the 3-point line. And then Gobert, double-double, no cat. And the concern with the double-double is his points most of the time. But Memphis actually allows the most attempts in the restricted area where he's shooting almost all of his shots. So that's what I'm on tonight.
Hey, love them. Love the looks, man. Love the looks, Bookie. I hope you cash all of them. You tweet them to the show page. I'll make sure to retweet them, too, if you want to send one over there.
Good looks, I appreciate it.
Absolutely, bro. Hope you cash all of them, man. Let me kick it to Ben real quick. Then LJ, I'm gonna come to you, and then Lockdown, I'm gonna get you up as well. What's up, Ben? How you doing today?
Hey, how you doing, Chris?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
I'm gonna ask before each one if it's already been spoken on because I got in here a little late. Has anyone talked about Celtics first quarter stuff yet or no?
Nah, not at all. But I think I know where you're going. But yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm going with the Celtics first quarter team total over 30.5. I've been trying to keep detailed notes like after each night, just like, hey, what am I seeing? And I keep writing down every night. Celtics team totals at home. Celtics team totals at home. Celtics team totals at home. And the Heat are a good defensive team. They're not a good defensive team early. I believe on the road this year they're averaging giving up 30 points per game in the first quarter, and that includes games where Jimmy Butler has played. I'm just not stepping in the way of the Celtics right now. Like, I want to play the Celtics offensively any way that I can, or at least find a way to play them offensively. And with them averaging, basically 33 in the first quarter this year, playing against, a bottom third first quarter defense, and having average, I know they had that crazy first quarter the other night, but they're still averaging like 39 last 3 games in the first quarter. 30.5 gives us some cushion, compared to their season average and recent average. Anyone talk about Embiid yet?
So I talked about his assists, heavy lean to the over 4.5 for me, Ben, but I didn't play it. And real quick, Ben, on your point. So looking at the Heat on the road this season, they are giving up an average of 30.1 points in the first quarter. And that's that's without playing against the Celtics team. Only like they haven't even they played them one time, but that was in Miami. On the road, they're giving up 30 points in the first quarter. In the month of November specifically, they're giving up 29.5. So you just need one more point than the average team could score. So love that look, Ben. Love that look a lot. But go ahead with your Embiid play.
I want to find a way to play the Celtics. So you and I actually messaged about Embiid assists. I love his assists. He's averaging 11 potential assists without Maxey and Harden. I made the joke that they're still on sale for Black Friday. I got 4.5 last night for plus money. I got it laddered at 6-8 and triple double. I think his triple double is like plus 4,000. And he's done that both, without these players in the past, and he's done it against the Cavs. Embiid destroys the Cavs. Like, as a Cavs fan, like, there's just some guys that the Cavs can't stop. Center-wise, it's Rudy Gobert and Joel Embiid. He crushes the Cavs. I think he went 40 ball on them 3 out of 4 games last year. So I got 2 units on Embiid. PRA, I think it was 43.5. Whatever the line's at, it don't matter. He's going to crush it. Has anyone spoke on Sabonis yet?
Nobody spoke on Sabonis. I've heard a lot of good things about him today. Which one, his rebounds or his assists?
I'm on the PRA.
Okay.
I think he's going to have a big game. Obviously, Zubac kind of inflated the line last 7, but even if you look at the season, they're allowing 44.5 PRA to opposing centers and close to 50 PRA the last 7 games. There's even just kind of average centers in the league who are average volume guys going double easily. Sabonis is averaging close to 35 PRA a game this season. We need 36.5. So not only do we have the revenge, pre-trade team, but we also get the best matchup you can get. So asking him to have 2 more production in any way, in a game where we see a total. I mean, this might be the highest total of the year so far, right? 242.5.
Yes, sir.
So we're gonna see a ton of pace. Miles Turner has, aside from blocking shots, he doesn't really have any interest in rebounding or anything along the lines of that. He's just not I don't know what it is with Turner. He's playing well on the offensive side of the floor this year, but it just feels like he's been getting cooked lately with Zubac and AD and just kind of every matchup he's had. Guys have been hitting their lines. So I really like Sabonis tonight from that motivation spot and the matchup. And then the last play I was on was Rudy Gobert, PRA. Gobert against Steven Adams the last 2 seasons is averaging, I think it's close to 32 PRA, and I got him at plus 100 for 29.5 this morning.
Who was that, Ben? What was that last play?
Rudy Gobert, PRA.
PRA over?
Over 29.5.
Over 29.5. Okay. You're the first person I heard talk about that. Okay.
29.5. Yeah, I had a lot of luck last year playing Gobert against centers that don't play on the perimeter. I would always buy Gobert for centers that are interior guys only, and I try to fade him when he was playing against guys like, who play on the perimeter, right, who shoot threes and stretch him outside the paint. Obviously, Adams, doesn't stretch the floor whatsoever. We probably think that this is going to be a pretty tight game. I don't imagine that Memphis gets blown out to the point where Adams gets played off the floor by someone like Naz Reid or something like that. Naz Reid hasn't really been a huge part of the offense, and he'll probably play a little more with Cat out. And Gobert starts playing well, we're going to see that number go back up to where it was last year, when we would see, 32, 33, 34 PRA, lines for him regularly. So I think we can take advantage of this for a game or two before books adjust.
Yeah, I love that. I love that look, Ben. I love that look. And I love the reasoning behind it as well. Love that look, Ben. Okay, I can see that. I could definitely see that. A lot more pick and roll. I think, with more spacing on the floor. Subtracting Cat probably just brings in another shooter. And I know Cat, probably the greatest big man shooter that we've ever seen outside of Dirk Nowitzki, in my estimation anyway. But he'd been cold, man. I talked about him the other day. Cat I took him one game and he shot 1 for 11 from 3. Or I think I was on the Timberwolves and he shot 1 for 11 from 3. So, just not shooting the ball well. I do expect, guys like Noel to get in there and light it up. That's another guy, like you said, Reed will be in there as well. Hopefully they get Jaden McDaniels back.
Can we get a line on Jalen Noel or no?
Nah, I don't think. When I checked earlier about an hour before the show, I didn't see any. They probably put it out 10 minutes before the game, though.
Any lines on Kyle Anderson, playing his former team, and he's probably going to get the start at that 4?
Yeah, I heard that he was starting today. I don't think I saw lines for him either. Let me check real quick. I'll check. Let's see. Minnesota. Kyle Anderson. Nope. We don't have any players for Minnesota right now besides Anthony Edwards, D'Angelo Russell, and Rudy Gobert. So we have nobody else. The books don't know where to put the lines at. They shaking, quivering right now, man. No idea where to put the lines. Okay. Ben, best of luck to you, my brother. I hope you cash all those. Like them a lot. LJ, I want to come to you. Thank you for being patient, my brother. Lockdown, you up next, and then I'm gonna get to you, Hustle.
Chris, my man.
What's going on, LJ? Talk to me, man.
What's up? What's going on with you today, sir?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I'm trying to get some money. It's what you say winning Wednesdays this morning, right?
Yes, sir. We trying to cash, man. Bounce back day.
Hey, I feel you, man. Well, let's get some money, man. I'm gonna throw out some heavy hitters for you. So
okay, what you got?
We can get to the money. So let's start off with of course, my Rockets and Nuggets, man. Let's go with Jokic again, bro. Over PRA 46.5 minus 114. He had a 52 PRA the other night versus the Rockets. And the last 6 games, he's averaging 26, 12, and 8, which is a 46 PRA. So I do believe he will get that, considering Porter's still out of the lineup. So extra score. Hello?
Yeah, no. I was just saying, you're right. Porter is still out.
Okay.
You making me like it already, LJ. Keep going.
Yeah. So I think, Jokic's going to still have to get that offensive production, more of the fact that extra shooter is out. So I'm going to be on Jokic tonight. I'm going to jump on Anthony Edwards, man. Over 25.5 points, minus 113. He's had 25 plus 5 out of his last 7 games. And the fact that Karl Anthony Towns is out now, Anthony Edwards was already the leading scorer on that team. So I do believe that his points are going to increase now, the fact that the second leading scorer is out now. So his production is going to have to go up. So let's go on and hit the books before the bookies push up Juice's points up, to about 28. So long as it's at 25 right now, I think he can get that because he's had 25, like I said, 5 of the last 7. So let's go on and get this while we can.
Okay.
I'm gonna jump on Devin Booker over PRA 39.5 minus 112, considering what he did the other night versus Utah, and he's averaging a 42 PRA since Chris Paul has been out of that lineup.
Okay.
So I'm gonna stay on Devin Booker. Let's go with Colin Sexton again. I told you the other night. I tweeted it out to you. Over 4.5 assists. He's hit it 5 straight games, and as long as Mike Conley is out of the lineup, I do believe Colin Sexton is going to continue to hit that assist prop until the books juice it up. So let's continue to take advantage. Plus, this is a revenge spot for Utah because they lost to the Clippers I think 2 weeks ago on Monday, I do believe. So
He did, yep.
This is a revenge spot. I'm not mad at the market in double-double or Kelly Unick steals prop, but I'm not going to take it because I don't like being on a lot of props on one game. I like to take one because, once you start chasing, you start to lose money.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
I'm going to stick to my rule and just stick to one. Let's just be patient. Focus on one. So, Colin Sexton, over 4.5 assists. We're going to do Kyle Kuzma, over 7.5 rebounds, minus 124, because he's had 7+ rebounds, 11 out of the last 13 games. He's the second lead rebounder on that team, averaging 8. And we do know that Brooklyn is bottom 5 in rebounding. And Brooklyn has been out-rebounded on the offensive boards 120 to 55 in their last 10 games, bro. And they're allowing 12 offensive rebounds a game already. So, and Washington's top 10 in rebounds on the road. So I think all that correlates to Kuzma getting his rebound prop tonight.
Okay.
And I jumped on Capella's 1+ steal, minus 143, because I like the trend that Orlando gives up a steal a game to the center position. So I'm just going to stay on that. I'm going to just keep riding that until it stops for sure. And I'll parlay Ja Morant's points over 30.5 with DeRozan over 25.5, because both of them, they average more on the road than they do at home. So I parlay both of them to come up with some plus money as well. And other than that, I took a couple sides too. I told you I wasn't going to be taking sides this month, but we going into December, so I got a little more sample size to where I think I can be confident, take a couple sides and team totals. So
I like it. What you want, LJ?
Let's go with Milwaukee, man, and the Knicks over 112. First half over 112.5, because the Bucks are 10-2 in their last 12 games to the over first half, and the Knicks are 8-1 to the first half over at home. So I think those correlate to give me an over in the first half, and I'm gonna jump on Memphis team total over 116.5, because they're averaging 121 points in the last 5 games, and Minnesota allows 118 points at home. So those are my plays for you today, Chris.
Hey, I like that one, man. I was actually looking at Minnesota, trying to figure out how I could play that game. But like I said, I'm going to stay on the sideline. But Memphis team total over 116.5 is enticing. That's definitely enticing. I like that look a lot. LJ, I hope you cashing, bro. You got some bangers out there, man. I hope you cashing, bro. I hope you cash all of them, man.
I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna tweet them out at you and everything.
Absolutely.
What I'm making money on.
Absolutely, my brother. Hey, best of luck to you, man. Best of luck to you. We just got an update. Looks like Jaden McDaniels for the Timberwolves is a game time decision with an illness, so he'll probably end up going through shoot around. Not sure if he's going to be in or not. Lockdown. I know you've been waiting for a minute. I want to kick it to you, and then Hustle, and then Amar, I want to come to you as well. What's up, Lockdown?
What's up, man? How are you doing?
I'm good, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm excited for the big NBA slate we got today. A lot of value to find. I love the Kings Pacers game. I mean, you gotta have a play in that just so you can at least watch, and even if you don't, just watch that game. That game's gonna be fireworks.
Yeah, I agree.
I took a discount. You know, I love me some defense. So, and sometimes how I use defense, if I don't want to go all the way on the over on the straight defensive line, I'll just use it as a discount for like an offensive prop. So I love Halliburton's assists tonight. We all know we've seen the post about, the billion assists he's had with no turnovers over the last 3 games. It's really the 24 potential assists that he's averaging over the last 10 games that is just staring at me, and I have to take some version of that. So I'm on Halliburton, 11 assists with Halliburton 1 steal. I'm mad. I should have played at minus 125, and then it moved. So it's at minus 135 right now, or at least it was earlier today. I don't know what the line is now, but I really like it. I took it with the juice. I think Halliburton's going to be juiced, pardon the pun, to play tonight. And I don't think you always want to consider his points, but he's still a pass first guard. He really opened up his scoring. He's talked about it a lot, mostly as a way. to open up the floor and you know what I mean, just to make sure that you know, he's not clogging the process, you know, playing the offense correctly, you know what I mean, and realizing that he can score too. So, but I love his assist with the 1 steal tonight. Fast-paced game. We know the over is like insane, 240 or something like that. I love Joel tonight. I think there's really no one that can guard him tonight. So I do love his assists. I have his assists in a parlay, but I took a discount on his points by taking I took 28 points with 2 first quarter Joel rebounds. That is something that he has hit. Oh man, 1 second, I can get it for you. I want to say, all right, so he's hit that last 8 of 10, but he's hit that last year against Cleveland last year. He hit that basically 4 straight. Even had an 8 first quarter rebound game, I think. And yeah, love that today. So that's a, you know, I get basically a 3-point discount on his points. And on let's see what the price was again. Sorry. It was -115. So love that. You know, hopefully the 2 first quarter rebounds should absolutely cash today. Especially without Jared Allen and him just guarding the rim area. And as long as he doesn't have a bad shooting night, but I think, you know, he had his first game jitters out of the way. Usually his first game back, his shooting touch is a little off, but he quickly usually regains that form. So love that as a first quarter player prop tonight. And then I'll give you 2 more. Jalen Green. So these are all my officials today. Jalen Green, 4.5 assists. It's actually moved to a better price than when I got it, which always makes you a little nervous, but I just don't know how he misses it. I mean, he had 11 potential assists on 30 minutes, and he didn't play the full 4th quarter. I've shared it before, how he's talked about, or how, you know what I mean, it seems like over the last 10 games, they've really kind of leaned on him as a playmaker, and he's getting some more minutes, like at the end of, I think, the 1st and the 3rd or something, as the lead playmaker. So I love his assists. You can get a better number right now. I even put it up a little, like to Jalen Green, 6 assists in a parlay. And then my last play is Jokic. So DraftKings has now started doing what Caesars was doing, at least in Pennsylvania, where they're offering first quarter player props, like as a solo. You could always have it in SGP, but now you can get it as a straight. So Jokic, 2.5 first quarter assists was plus money earlier today, plus 115. He's gotten that in 7 games straight where they've won by 10 plus. I do expect it to be a blowout tonight. I know home and homes, we've always expect, like, you know, one team wins the first game, the second team should come back. The Denver team is just no match for this Houston team, period, end of story. I expect Jokic will do his damage early again. I think he got 4 first quarter assists and like 5 first quarter rebounds. I considered like a 2-2 with the rebounds. But it was still way too juiced. So it's better to just take the 3 first quarter assists and expect that he'll just get it, just because I don't know what his potential assists in the first quarter are, but he smashes this number. You know what I mean? 7 of 7 when they win by 10. So it's an easy enough play for me.
Okay. I like the looks locked down. I also like that you always, you know, buy it down, right? And just kind of pair 2 things together. I talked earlier about, you know, and I think that's important for us to, you know, for us to note as well. Like, you know, we don't always have to play these -110 and -105 lines. I like to do them because I find it challenging to feel like I'm going to be on the right side. But it's not. I talked about, you know, liking the Raptors today. But if you don't want to lay the 3 because you think it's a closer game than 3, you know, 3 is a 1-possession game. You could, you know, go in like you said, like instead of taking Siakam at 6.5 rebounds, you know, or 7.5 rebounds, whatever that line is. You could buy it down to 1 rebound and then just take the money line if you wanted to, kind of make like your own same game parlay.
I always say for straight plays or even money plays or whatever, or within that -135 or less range where you're likely to play it to win 1 unit. Most people aren't playing -150 or 200 straight. If they are, they're crazy. I've seen people do it. I've seen people profit. That doesn't make them any less insane. But for a straight play, I always like to say, because it's still dice rolling. That's how I always use the analogy. So I always try to make sure it's no more than 2 dice rolls as much as possible for a straight even money play. Because for an even money play, even though that third, you know, line, even if it's -400 or 700. It's still a third dice roll. It's still a third prop bet. You know what I mean? No matter how you skew it, it's still very likely to screw you. That's why I got into That's why I keep up with defense, because sometimes you don't like the full 2 steals or 3 blocks, but you're confident in the 1 steal, and then, okay, well, then I can reduce the juice on another prop that I also like in that game. So
Right. No, I love it. Lockdown. Best of luck, bro. I hope you cash all of them.
You as well.
Absolutely. Hustle, I'm gonna come to you, and then Amar, I know you've been waiting for a minute, bro. Appreciate you waiting patiently. I'm gonna come to you next, and then we'll keep it going. What's up, Hustle?
What's going on, Chris? How you doing?
I'm good, bro. How about you?
I'm good. So today, this first game, Embiid has killed the Cavs. Last season, he had multiple games of 30, 40 plus. He had some 35 plus games, and he killed on the rebounds. He had multiple games of 17 rebounds. So I'm riding with that tonight. I'm doing a parlay of Embiid 30 plus and 10 plus rebounds. That's plus 171. And then I'm doing Embiid 40 and a PPD of Embiid 40 and Philly to win. And that's plus 1,300. Also, Paolo's 25 and 30. Later in that, we all know him and Murray got their little thing. So he should go off. Also, Porzingis under rebounds. His rebounds has been at 8.5 these last couple games, and he hasn't went over that. I hit it the last 2 games. He only had 4. He's been focusing more on scoring, so taking his under rebounds. And I got a couple more leads, but I'm gonna just stick to those to give out.
Okay. Hey, I like them, bro. I like that you got you got a couple that you done keyed in on too. So I hope you cash them, bro. Appreciate you sharing them.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Amar, I want to come to you, bro. I know, like I said, I know you've been waiting for a minute. Appreciate you being patient, man. What you got today?
Hey, Chris. It's all good. I'm not mad. But honestly, I got a lot of leans, just like bro just said. I want to give a quick shout out to I want to say it was Lockdown, and then the first guy you had up here, I think his name was like Canadian something.
Canadian Cam.
Yep, Canadian Cam. I just heard a lot of plays. They said that either I'm on completely or I was thinking about it, but wasn't completely sure.
That's what we do the show for. Yeah,
no, for real. Honestly, though, just gonna give a couple ones. I like so many people for triple doubles today. It's crazy. There's Pascal, Giannis, Domantas Sabonis, Josh Giddey. I heard a couple of people talk about him earlier. Gonna wait to see news, final news on Jalen or Jaden McDaniels, whichever brother it is, in that Memphis game. Was thinking about Jaren Jackson threes ladder, but definitely goes out the window if he's in. Not saying like he's Jaren Jackson stop or anything, but the Timberwolves defense is a lot better with him out there, as opposed to Kyle Anderson.
Right. Right.
But no, officially really on Buddy Hield tonight. I think a lot of people are on Halliburton. Narrative is there for it. Kings defense isn't that good, high pace team, all that. But I'm not going to say Hield is a contrarian play, though, because, it's also a narrative game for him. He was also on the Kings. I feel like people forget about that. So I was going to take him 2025, 4 or 5 threes, just go completely on the value. Last game against his only game against the Kings was before this. He also had 25, so I just think it's a great spot for him and kind of a contrarian play with everybody and their mom on, Tyrese Halliburton tonight. Let's see what else I had. I'm not going to give out too many. I know there are probably other people waiting to talk to. So, it's definitely on Embiid. Oh, Embiid for triple-double, also going to sprinkle a little bit on that. I know it sounds crazy, but, averaging a good amount. I think someone earlier said 11 potential assists over the last couple of games since Harden and Maxey been out. And it's a Cleveland team that, no Jared Allen. And, yeah, they're just going to have to either stop Embiid or play him straight up and have him drop 40. So, there's that. Definitely on Edwards over 25.5 tonight. Just think it's a great spot for him. No cat, so he gets to take more shots. D'Lo's been terrible all year. And lastly, Trey Jones double-double. had 21 potential assists last game. Good pace matchup against the Thunder. And yeah, Keldon Johnson hasn't even been playing that well recently, to be honest. So I feel like he's gonna have a big game, but I'd rather just take Trey Jones assists as opposed to Keldon points. Big fan of Keldon though.
Yeah, I like Keldon a lot too. I like a lot of your plays too. They make a lot of sense, Amar. I hope you cash all of them, bro, and I appreciate you sharing them.
Appreciate you being up, bro.
Absolutely, bro. Anytime. Kick it to my man Vaughn, and then Uncut. I want to come to you, and then I think we're gonna wrap up after that. What up, Vaughn?
I'm good, bro. You hear me good?
Yeah, you good?
Man, crazy shit happened last night, man. Marvin Bagley, 11 points in the first half. Man, I'm thinking I got an easy cash at 13 and a half. Then the Knicks do what the Knicks do and be inconsistent and blow them out by 100 points in the second half, bro.
Yep.
So we going back against the Knicks, man. I'm with I don't know who said it earlier, man, but I'm on that Milwaukee Bucks first half team total over 112 and a half. So a lot of the trends that you talked about already, and then we also know that teams on that third and coming off that road and coming back home, defensive trends not trending in their direction. Then we also have the Bucks first half Bucks fourth in offensive rating in the first half. Also, they seventh in assist percentage. Of course, anytime we're looking to play a team total or anything like that, we're looking for teams that move the ball, especially against teams that on that road home travel. Because you don't want to rotate. You want to play somebody like the Mavericks where Luka gonna dribble the ball for 22 seconds and then throw somebody a firecracker when you got to shoot it. So I love that. Then also we got the Milwaukee in this has hit this line in 5 of their last 6 games. They're shooting 51% in the first half. So we love that. Let's see. So that's one of my favorites right there. Went with Nurkic rebounds, 10 and a half. We know the Lakers struggle against the bigs. Nothing too extravagant there. Let's see. We are also on Rudy Gobert rebounds, 12 and a half. Just an opportunity, a volume thing more than anything else. They play Steven Adams shouldn't get played off the court tonight. And no matter what happens, Rudy Gobert will play. No cat, so he'll get the minutes. I like Zach LaVine points tonight. So Phoenix is like fourth or fifth worst in the last 7 games against the shooting guard position. And then I seen this montage that someone put together on Twitter with superstars playing defense. So these guys that have been carrying a heavy load, when you watch Luka, he gets lazy on defense. I seen LeBron on there. I seen they highlighted Devin Booker though over these last 5 games. He's carrying so much of that offensive load. He's low at times on defense. So I like Zach LaVine at 21 and a half. And I got a lean to the New Orleans Pelicans team total under 108.5. So we just watched them struggle to score 105 against the Thunder. You talked about it earlier. No BI, no McCollum. They typically just struggle. Any team is going to struggle without their 2 primary ball handlers. And then you bring in that Raptors defense, and then you add Siakam. Just a lot of things I like about that one, but I got a couple of plays. I think I'm gonna end up getting there with that one, but I really like that team total under 108.5. And I like as well that Evan Mobley points and rebounds line, but it's looking like he's going to start at center, which means he's going to be checking Embiid. And Embiid has been drawing fouls at an all-time high, and I do not want Embiid to kill my play in the first couple of minutes because he's just leaning into you and hoping that they call a foul.
That's a
fact. They've been calling it like some dumbasses. Let's see. And I like Dion. I got a PPD with Giannis, double in a win for -116. DeAndre Ayton double in a win for +150. And I'm with you on the Trae Young assist. But that's about it, man. I like that play you had with the Siakam rebounds and assists. Some of these West Coast games tonight, man, I'm gonna just watch. I got a strong lean to the Sacramento under first quarter 29.5. So if you look at this line of 29.5, they've only scored 30 points or more twice this season. Indiana only scored 30 points or more in that first quarter twice this season. So I really want to play that under, but with all this revenge shit, with these players that's been traded for each other, it's kind of hard to play an under in that game. But I think the books have the Pacers, as this offensive, I ain't gonna say juggernaut, but just fast-paced team, and they're not scoring like that. Like I said, they're last in first quarter scoring. They're averaging like 25 a game. So I think I'm gonna end up getting there with that, man. It's just hard not to when everything, trending in that direction. Let's see. And then I'm gonna end up playing that first quarter. Sacramento spread at 1.5. The Pacers haven't won a first quarter since November the 12th. So the Pacers just bad in the first quarter, bro. So I'm gonna play that spread or that team total under 29.5 for the Pacers. I'm gonna play one of those. It's just too much trending in the direction not to. I think I'm gonna end up playing the spread because the Pacers are just god awful in the first quarter. We're one of the bottom field goal percentage, terrible 3-point percentage. Just a bad offensive team in that first quarter. I think I'm gonna end up playing that under 29.5.
Yeah, I like that look, man. I like that look a lot. I'm looking at it right now. So the Pacers this month specifically, they play 4 away games and in the month of November. They're averaging 23.8 points in the first quarter, giving up 29.8 points. So that's a 5-point gap in the first quarter in the 4 away games. 2 of those games will come on the West Coast, of course, against the Lakers and the Clippers. And they had the Rockets earlier as well, back on the 18th, and they got the Hornets. So not even, not even the best teams, And the Kings due for a win, due to come up. I thought that they would get there against the Suns the other day. I like that. I like that look, Vaughn. I like that look a lot. Kings first quarter -1.5, or just take the Pacers team total under. Kings should be, like I talked about it earlier, Kings should be motivated to play a little bit more defense, man. And I also think that, like I said, I think this game goes under 2. You look at the Pacers, they only score 110 points on the road this month, and they're only giving up 108. So that's a lot of room for, some and you got to factor in, the Kings as well. And that's the reason why this total is so high. But the Pacers games have gone under. Both of those games have gone under so far against the Clippers and the Lakers at 220.5 and 237.5. Both of those games have gone under, and they've gone under by, a nice little margin. 16 points against the Clippers, and what was that? I'm sorry, not 16 points against the Clippers, 6.5 points against the Clippers, and 6 points against the Lakers. So I think this one is set, a tad bit too high. I had a lean towards the under. It's still going up. So I might wait for it to get, maybe hit 244. I don't know what it's going to hit, but I might go under then. So I like the under, and I also like that first quarter look as well, Vaughn. Appreciate you sharing that, my brother.
Yeah, and I love the under in that game. And if you look at it, they had it was a lot of scoring in that last 3 or 4 minutes. I think the last 6 or 7 minutes, because the Lakers was down the Pacers was down 16. So you take them coming back, if you take them, doing what a typical NBA team does and just kind of scoring a normal amount of points and not having a 16-point turnaround, that shit goes under even more. I think I might be with you there, bro. Just let it get all the way up to 245, 246, and just play that under.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna get that high, but if it does, that'd be nice. I'm definitely playing it then. Like the look, bro. I appreciate you, bro. I hope you cash it, man. Uncut, what's going on, my brother? Let me kick it to you. What's up, man?
What's up, man? How you feeling?
I'm good, bro. How you feeling?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Tonight, man, I'm looking at Banchero. I want to see what he could do tonight. I don't know if you guys remember, but in the Summer League at the Pro-Am Seattle, him and DeJounte were going at it. They had an earlier matchup this season. He ended up getting caught on the hook. He needed 20.5. He finished with 20. Tonight, they got him back at 20.5 again at some books. Other books, I see him at 21.5. So I do like Banchero over 20.5 tonight. And then I DM'd you last night, man. I almost hit the Clippers plus 1,000 against the Blazers. They were only down 12 points going into the fourth quarter. And Jeremiah Grant fouls out. Whole game just turns over. So tonight, man, I really like the Jazz. I'm not taking it at the 7.5 yet. I'm gonna let a few buckets go in, and hopefully catch the Jazz at a better line than what's currently posted. I just feel like with Reggie Jackson out and Norman Powell out today, after watching them yesterday, that was their only two players that were doing anything. The rest of their offense was pretty stagnant. So I'm gonna definitely be on that tonight. And then I like the Celtics a lot as well too. That'll probably be my other parlay piece. Just with no Jimmy Butler, no Hero. I'll lean the Celtics. So those are kind of my plays for tonight. But nothing really official other than that Banchero and then the two live looks for me.
If you take the Celtics, and what form you gonna take them in? Spread, team total, first half, first quarter. What you gonna look at specifically?
I'm hoping money line. Like honestly, I mean, we're gonna see how big it gets up. I really like the Jazz tonight a lot. So that's really what I want to parlay it with. Hopefully, I can get good odds with those two once some shots go up. But yeah, that's kind of just what I'm looking at for right now.
Yeah,
both those teams win pretty easily. So those are kind of just like guarantees in my opinion. But
okay, yeah, I like what you're saying, man, for sure. And I like that you always mention the live lines too, Uncut, because even if we see these lines are like like if it's a play that we really want to get on and the line has gotten too high. For instance, last night, I think I really wanted Nurkic rebounds last night. Just looking at some numbers late. I think his rebound line was 10.5. It went up to 10.5 throughout the day. I think it opened at 9.5. 2 minutes into the game, he doesn't have a rebound, and his line comes down to 9.5. So I played it at 9.5 because I didn't feel comfortable playing it at 10.5, and I fell asleep. I woke up and it cashed. So just different things like that. It's real good to kind of catch those live numbers for sure. So couldn't talk anybody out of live betting the game.
On a back-to-back too. My bad. I didn't mean to
No. You good? Go ahead. Go ahead.
With no Reggie Jackson and Norman Powell, like those were. If you watched that game last night, those were the two that made that run. I think Norman Powell ended up finishing with like 32, and Reggie Jackson had like 12 assists and like 20 points. So you take those two out, they were down like 17 or 18 in that game, and then those two kind of just led that comeback. So on a back-to-back too, especially if you can catch it live, tired legs coming into like the fourth, that's kind of where I try to pinpoint my bets personally.
Yeah, that's a fact. You got to be watching the games, but it's a lot of money to be made live for sure. Okay, so always appreciate you bringing the live looks, my brother. I don't see any more requests. We've been on for an hour and a half, so I'm gonna get ready to shut this thing down. If nobody got anything else, real quick, I'll go over my officials. Trae Young over 9.5 assists. Cleveland and Philly under the 211, under 211.5. Milwaukee and New York over the 227. The Raptors -2.5, -2.5. I like both of those. Looks like Zach Collins and Bates Diop will be starting for Jakob Poeltl and SoCal on that one. So Raps -2.5, and then Siakam. Really love the rebounds and assist line for Siakam, like I talked about, over 13.5. I think he probably finishes with close to 16 in that game, especially with like I said, I think Alvarado is going to be a pest to Fred VanVleet. So it makes sense for Nick Nurse to run the offense through Siakam tonight. Those are the 5 plays that I locked in. Real, kind of the Magic play, the +6 is, I wouldn't say it's that strong of a play, but that's where I lean. I could see Atlanta, kind of getting back on track tonight as well. So I'm not going to play that one. That one's just a lean, but I do kind of lean Magic +6, them kind of getting some guys back, but then also them getting some guys back, maybe throws off the chemistry. I think it only helps though, honestly. But I'm not playing the Magic +6. That's a lean of mine. I really like Embiid assist at 4.5. Didn't play that. The Nets -5.5. Real strong look there as well. I think that game also goes under the 228. I don't agree with the total going up. The Sixers +3.5. I'm not backing this Cleveland Cavaliers team without Kevin Love and Jared Allen. Evan Mobley over the 26.5 points and rebounds. Another strong look. Didn't play that one either. I also feel like if you look at Darius Garland, if you look at his splits between road and home, Darius Garland plays a lot better at home than he does on the road. The Philadelphia 76ers is the 3rd-ranked defense over the last 5-6 games or so. So they've been doing it on defensive end, which is why I don't want to take Darius Garland, but I do like Darius Garland in this spot. The problem is the Cavaliers offense just kind of struggles if it's not Darius Garland specifically or Donovan Mitchell being able to score. Also, got to look at Donovan Mitchell in a bounce back spot too. I know he had single-digit points. He might have finished with 8 points. He got the OG Anunoby treatment the other day. So I look for him to kind of bounce back. I don't feel like the Sixers have a defensive guy on their team as good as OG Anunoby. And people may argue that Thibault, could be that guy, but I think OG is probably the best perimeter defender that we have in the league right now. Tatum rebounds, because like I said, I think that game does stay close as well. I don't think it's necessarily a blowout from the beginning, even though the Celtics may get there and cover the full game. But I do like Tatum rebounds over 7.5. And like I said, I think you got to look at playing Sabonis in some form of way. So official, just 5 plays, but all those other plays are leans as well. I know shoot to shoot, but I'm not playing too many things tonight, man. I'm just play those 5 plays that I first talked to you guys about. Trey over 9.5 assists, Philly and Cleveland under the 211.5, Milwaukee and New York over the 227. Raptors -2, -2.5. Siakam over 13.5 rebounds and assists. I also play Siakam rebounds over 6.5 as well. So I told you guys I'd give you the rebounds and assist line. I think it's better. The rebounds also went up to 7.5 versus the 6.5. So really like that number as well. And that's all I got for you guys, man. If you guys are, the stars will be stars parlay. Somebody just asked about it. I'm glad you asked, Tannehill. I totally forgot all about it, man. Let's see if we can come up with something real quick before we get off here. So what absolutely, and you guys, create your own, man. Figure out, all I do when I'm doing these is I'm literally looking at the game saying, all right, I think this team is going to win. This needs to happen for this team to win. So first game up, Atlanta and Orlando. I would absolutely look towards Trae Young in this spot. I talked about his assists, but I also think his points probably in play. I don't think that this game is a blowout, so I would be looking towards Trae Young over 26.5 points in that game. But also, you could just take his assists. He's a star. It doesn't necessarily have to be points. And I already talked about how I'm official on his assists over 9.5. Orlando's given up the most assists over the last 7 games, and I think the 5th most or 6th most assists over the last 5 or 6 games. They just been getting, destroyed by point guards. Also, a 3rd game before nights for Orlando as well. So I'll be looking towards Trae Young, either points or assists in that one. Let's see. All right, let's just do. I'm gonna do his assists 9.5 -102. Philly and Cleveland. I think you guys could go either way here. You could go Philly and Embiid, especially with them just having Evan Mobley to be able to guard him. We know nobody can really guard Embiid one-on-one. So they send double teams. He probably won't get his points, but he may get his, he probably end up getting his assists. Excuse me. Assists at 4.5 is plus money. If I'm looking to play somebody in this one, it's probably Darius Garland. Like I said, he typically plays well. I couldn't talk anybody off Donovan Mitchell at 25.5. Could be a game where he goes for 30. Even though I like the under in this game, I don't see a lot of offense coming on the Cleveland side, other than Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, and Darius Garland. So I probably play Garland over the 22.5 if I had to play something in that game, just because his road home splits are a lot better at home than they are on the road. Wizards and the Nets. Probably I feel like it's got to be a Kyrie game sooner or later. Kyrie has not been playing as well. I know his points open at 23.5. They're up to 24.5. The Brooklyn Nets are really sharing the ball if you look at it, though. They're really, really sharing the ball. Nicholas Claxton also had 18 points in the last game. The Wizards' worst position has been the center. Nicholas Claxton isn't a superstar, so I wouldn't put him in the stars will be stars parlay, but I couldn't talk anybody off his points at 13.5. KD is all the way up to 29.5, so I feel like it's a buy low spot on Kyrie. He could go off for 30, so I'll probably put Kyrie at 24.5 in this one. Miami and Boston, I feel like I really just don't want to touch this game. I don't want to take Tatum because offensively these guys are too good all around. I don't want to take anybody from Miami at all. Bam's too inconsistent for me, so I'll probably leave that one alone. Bucks and the Knicks doesn't feel like a game to me where Giannis has to score 30. It feels like a game to me where, all these guys actually come in and contribute. Jalen Brunson probably end up drawing Drew Holiday, so I don't really like that as much. I'm not taking Julius Randle after what he did last night. I don't see that continuing to happen. So I don't think I have a leg for that game. But if you find one you like, take it. Toronto and New Orleans. Let's see. Fred VanVleet is going to get Alvarado, not to say that he still can't score 20 points. It probably might not be as needed as much with Siakam being back. He played 30 minutes in his first game back, point line at 21.5. I don't really see anything I want in this one either. I'm not looking to add a leg that I already added in, as a single play either. So it's going to be something totally different. Not trusting Zion to be able to score 25.5. I'll probably be looking towards his assist that cashed the last game. But this Toronto Raptors defense, I've talked about how good they are defensively. So probably not anything I feel super confident in that game. This Minnesota and Memphis game, there's a lot to like in this one. We know Ja typically scores more on the road than he does at home. At home, you typically take his assists. On the road, you typically take his points. So I can see people buying a point. I know he's at 30.5. Taking him at 30, I don't think anything's wrong with that. I also think Anthony Edwards has a big game, man. 25.5 with no Karl Anthony Towns. I can see that. D'Lo plays well against these guys as well, but he's just extremely, extremely inconsistent. I could see him being a little more aggressive, potentially going for 20 points. I think he has the best value at 17.5 on the board tonight, even though D'Lo done burnt me a couple times already this year. So Anthony Edwards or D'Angelo Russell or Ja Morant, you could do both. You could do two of those guys if you wanted to in this game. The Spurs and OKC, there is no star in that game at all without SGA. So skip that one. Denver and Houston, not sure how motivated Denver's going to be in this spot, but I do think that Jokic could be in play. If it's a blowout, though, then that just kind of throws everything off. I do think that even though he had his point prop in the last game, Jamal Murray still being at 19.5 is a bit intriguing as well. I think he had 30 in the last game, and Houston just doesn't guard anybody. So I can see Jamal Murray going for 20, especially without Michael Porter Jr. Phoenix and Chicago. It really just depends, man. I think Markel Bridges probably guards DeRozan, so that means that Zach LaVine should probably have a better game of the two. Not relying on Vucevic ever in life. Devin Booker to score 27.5. I could see he'll probably end up drawing somebody like Caruso, who's a pretty good defender, but nobody can really stop Devin Booker. It just really just depends on what he wants to do. I do think Aiden is probably the play in this one. 17.5 feels obtainable for Aiden, especially with Vucevic, having Vucevic on him. Clippers and the Jazz, nothing for me. Pacers and the Kings, a lot of things you can take in this one. We talked about Halliburton points. We talked about Buddy Hield points. We talked about Halliburton assists. De'Aaron Fox in a bounce back game. They don't have a defender for him that's going to be able to guard him. His points was at 24.5. Now it's down to 23.5. I think Fox could go for 25 in the bounce back spot. You just kind of got to figure out what you want and do in this one. We also got Halliburton. I'm Ben Mathurin numbers now. He's at 17.5. He's cleared that number. We know the last few games. Yeah, this is tough, man. This is tough. Also, you guys don't have to play these, as a parlay. You can play them straight. You definitely can play them straight. Half unit. You're doing this parlay. I don't recommend you guys putting more than 1/10 of a unit on it. Lakers in Portland. I talked about AD having a real nice matchup in this one. Patrick Beverly's back, which I think makes it difficult for Anthony Simons tonight. But also Jeremy Grant will probably he'll probably end up getting the AD treatment as well. So I don't really like anybody in that one. I do think that AD probably clears his 24.5 number against a small front court and against Portland besides Nurkic. Not sure if Eubanks is in this one. And that's all I got, man. I don't know how many legs I got out of that. I got 6. I got Trae Young, 9.5 assists, Garland 22.5 points, Kyrie to score 25, over 24.5, D'Angelo Russell at 18, Jamal Murray at 20, and Aiden at 17.5. That's plus 5,256, plus 5256, 10th of a unit. Whatever y'all 10th of a unit is, should be able to win y'all some, a nice decent return, man. 500 to 1 odds. So, take those things, man, and figure out what you want to do with them. Play a couple of them together, play a couple of them by themselves. Like Patrick said, there's only one game tomorrow. Detroit plays against the Mavs, the Mavs laying 7 on the road. They have not been the greatest road team, but yeah, we'll talk about that game tomorrow. Real quick, Uncut, I see you got your hand back up, bro, before we get out of here. What's up?
Yeah, I just got a quick question. What's your honest opinion on this Raptors and Pelicans game, man? Because I see 70% of the handles on the Raptors tonight, and just without BI and CJ, like you said, they had 22 turnovers last game, barely beat the Thunder. Like, I want to smash the Raptors, but I just want to see your opinion on that game real quick.
Yeah, no, I'm official. I'm official on the Raptors -2. I took them at -2 as soon as CJ got ruled out. And I played them again at 2.5 because I wanted to play them on 2 different books. One of them had a 2, one of them had a 2.5. So I'm official on both, the 2 and the 2.5. It probably is, my favorite, definitely my favorite spread of the day. If I had to pick another one, I'd be on the Sixers plus the 3.5. Also, I forgot to talk about the Bucks. The Bucks laying 6 is still a nice play, even with the Knicks being the best team on 3rd and 4 road trip. Last year they were 5-1 in that spot. I still think the Bucks won by close to double digits tonight, at least 3 possessions. But Uncut, I talked about it at the beginning, bro. I absolutely love the Raptors in this spot. I think that taking away the primary ball handler and the secondary ball handler for this New Orleans Pelicans team, I mean, they just beat OKC by like 3 points and didn't even cover that spread. Now you get a Toronto team coming in here that rested, got Pascal Siakam back. It'll be a second game back. So they're starting to get healthy. They're a much better defensive team with Siakam in the game as well. And I went over a lot of the trends, man. I really, really love this spot. It's actually probably one of my favorite spots on the card tonight. I really love the Raptors -2, -2.5. I know how good New Orleans is, but I'm not in the back in these teams that don't have their guys, right? Maybe one guy missing, sure, but when you take away Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum against a team that is going to hang their head on the defensive end like Toronto. With Siakam back and all that he brings, I love the Raptors -2, -2.5, man. So yeah, that's what I got for you guys, man. Take the same game, the stars will be stars parlay, break it up into 3s, break it up into the 2s, play them straight. You don't have to take them, 6 legs. I know everybody trying to, win the lottery, but take a few of them if you want. And I hope you guys cash, man. Best of luck on everything that you guys play tonight. Always like to end the show the same way. None of this is financial advice, financial consultation. It's all, trends and theory and eye test, SDQL. Bet with your heads, not over it. Best of luck on everything that you guys play tonight. I'm out.